are back talking dat Vedankadonk, and today's reflection is one of my favorite aspects of this philosophy. And that is that this philosophy has no interest in conversion. In contrast to philosophies and religions in the West, where it is paramount to convert, where there is only one path to the divine, to God, this philosophy, its standpoint, is stated rather clearly. Vedanta says there are as many paths to God as there are people on earth. You have to do your own internal audit to see what you are wired for, what is going to help you develop. Swimming might not be the right training or the right time for someone that's grossly overweight. Rock climbing might not be the right training for someone that is in their 90s. Everyone has their own wiring and their own place in their development. Vedanta is, well, it's often said that it's interesting to 1 in 10,000 people. And it's content with that. It is not a philosophy that's saying this is for everyone or everyone should be for this. It has stood the test of time in a way that no other philosophy has. In terms of continuous study, it is the oldest philosophy on the planet. But it's always been the 1 in 10,000 that take to it, that share it freely, and 1 in 10,000 more take to it from there. All without this need to convert others. In the Sermon on the Mount, Christ points us to not look at our brother's eyes, pointing out the specks, the splinters when we have logs in our own that need much more attention than our outward attention on others. And in that sense, the root of the word convert, it's Latin for turning around. This philosophy is really for that 1 in 10,000 that recognizes, okay, I need to turn around. I need to change direction. Everything I'm doing is moving outwardly. And after a bit of exposure, if you are one of those 1 in 10,000, you recognize the only transformation that matters is my own. It is not an outward conversion by any means. It's an inward turning. But a change nonetheless. But the interest within Vedanta has nothing to do with converting others. You might talk about it at dinner or lunch with friends, which comes up often in my life. And they have no idea why there is an appeal, where the appeal for this philosophy is. And you talk about it if they genuinely want to know about it. It's part of your transformation. But you don't need the validation from them for it to be part of theirs. There are as many paths to God as there are people on earth. This one might appeal to you. This one might be helpful for your own development. Maybe it's just 1 or 2 concepts that you take from these reflections, these episodes, that stick with you for years to come, and it actually just helps you become a better Christian. The last thing I'll mention is that this philosophy is also compatible with nearly every religion out there. As the sage Vivekananda said, Vedanta is not meant to replace anything. It makes the Christian a better Christian, the Muslim a better Muslim, the Jew a better Jew. It actually is quite compatible with nearly any religious viewpoint out there. Whether it is the compatibility with nearly every religion out there, or the lack of any need to convert anyone. Either way, and going back to Christ's words, this philosophy helps you remove the log out of your own eye, whether it is helpful to anyone around you or not. And that is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Daily Vedantic. This reflection is part of a free repeating 2-year course in Advaita Vedanta. rooted in the timeless wisdom of the Upanishads, arguably the oldest philosophical texts on earth. You can begin with episode 1, which gives the 15-minute overview of the whole philosophy of Vedanta, or you can join the journey with any episode at any point. But the critical aspect of this course, of understanding and mastering anything, is to study and reflect, even for 10 to 15 minutes on the timeless each day, preferably at the start of your day. As is said in this philosophy, reflection is 100,000 times as powerful as listening. So listen, journal, sit with, discuss these concepts, or ask questions at thedailyvedantic.com with our AI-powered chatbot, informed by about 700 episodes here, as regularly as one can, if you want to see clarity and peace almost effortlessly unfold in your daily life. And if it doesn't result in a near immediate increase in clarity and peace, then toss aside and feel free to never listen again. One of the things that you might notice is after 7 or 8 days in a row, this doesn't feel like a discipline. This feels like a visit with a best friend, to dive into the timeless with daily reflection. Within a few days, it becomes one of your favorite parts of the day. You can also find out more, including news about in-person events in Los Angeles and beyond, at the Daily Vedantic on Instagram, or through our weekly newsletter at thedailyvedantic.com. Additionally, check out the links in our show notes for more resources like the books that are mentioned most frequently in the episodes, including Vedanta Treatise, perhaps the simplest and most straightforward read on this philosophy I've ever come across. Until next time, and from the entire team that works on the Daily Vedantic project, thanks for listening.